I'm going to tell you about the three mindsets that kept me in poverty. And once I got rid of them, my finances started to improve. Welcome to Finish First Financially. I'm Goran Radanovic. Let's get into it immediately. The first mindset is spending to impress others. And in almost all situations where I've seen people struggle financially, they are always spending to impress others. And they do that because they care so much about what other people are going to think about them, what other people are going to say about them. And they actually care to such a great degree that a lot of their purchasing decisions are heavily influenced by other people's perceptions of them. And I was one of those people. I wanted to portray an image of success. I wanted other people to be impressed by me. And my strategy was to have these material possessions so that other people would think that I'm successful and they'll hopefully be impressed by me. The problem was that I couldn't afford these material possessions, so I took out a loan. And the first thing that I took out was a credit card, and I started buying a bunch of things. And that made me feel good because now I had all of these things that I couldn't afford before, and some people were impressed. And what inevitably happens when you take out one loan and you see the value that it adds to your life, you want to have more value. You want to feel even happier. You saw that that strategy worked. So what happened was I took out a second loan, took out vehicle finance. And now I'm driving a fancy BMW and people are more impressed by me. So now I take out a third loan. I've got a personal loan, I've got an overdraft. And it just carried on like that until I got to a point where I couldn't even meet my financial obligations anymore. And I went completely bust. So when you spend to impress others, it usually leads to living a life above your means, something that you can't afford. Those two are usually linked. And that's what happened to me. And I lost everything and literally ended up on the street. And funny enough, when I lost everything, that was actually one of the best things that could have happened to me financially. Because at that point, I lost my ego. I no longer cared about what other people thought about me. And I started structuring my budget so that it benefited me financially and not my ego. I got my ego out the way, and that's when my finances started to improve. The second mindset was not learning a new skill. Once I graduated from university with two finance degrees and I started working in corporate finance, I thought that I knew everything there was about finances. And about 8 or 9 years after I graduated, that's when I went bust and became homeless. And luckily for me, obviously, I lost my ego. But because I'd lost my ego, I'd opened myself up to uh, learning. And when I looked at my situation that I was in, I realized that there was something that I didn't know and that I had to learn it in order to improve my situation. And the first thing that I did is I looked at my experience, the decisions that I had taken to get myself into this rut, and I rectified those mistakes. But I needed a lot more information, so I started reading books, listening to podcasts, watching videos so that I could have all of this new great information and apply it to my own life. And I remember Jim Rohn, who was Tony Robbins' mentor, he said that if you want to solve your problems, you have to learn. And that's so true. Even if you want to, your income isn't enough and you want to supplement your income, it's great to learn a new skill, especially if it's in another industry. Because if the industry that you're currently in becomes obsolete or suddenly business fizzles out, you can naturally transition to the new industry that you're in without having to lose any of your income. So you have to learn in order to improve your finances. And the third mindset is surrounding myself with people who had the same financial knowledge as me. If you take three of your closest friends, I'm willing to bet that they make more or less the same amount of money as you. And if you're surrounding yourself with people who have the same financial results as you, How are you supposed to have better knowledge? How are you supposed to have any inspiration, any motivation? And when I realized this, I knew that I had to find somebody who had achieved much better financial results than me. And I found a gentleman who had a net worth of $10 million. But what I knew was that in order for me to extract information from him, I would have to add value to his life. And I had experience in the hospitality industry, and I offered my restaurant experience and my nightclub experience. Because if I don't offer value to that person, they're going to think, why am I hanging around with somebody who has less money than me? Well, what am I getting from them? So I had to offer them something in order to get what I wanted from them. And it doesn't necessarily have to be professional value that you add to a person. It could be entertainment. Maybe you're good at telling jokes and you make a person laugh, or you're a magician and you can have people in awe. So as long as you're adding value, that's the most important thing. And once I found this person, he showed me a completely different perspective on money. Because he had the results that I didn't have, he had gone on a path that I needed to take. And he showed me all the pitfalls that I could encounter, how to handle certain situations. And when you don't know what you don't know, you've got tunnel vision. And you need somebody to take you out of that situation and show you a completely different angle, show you something that you weren't privy to before, so that you can have a completely different perspective on money and see it like you had never seen it before, so that you can achieve better results. And having him as a resource was completely unbelievably invaluable. And to have a mentor like that helps everybody to get onto the road of financial prosperity. And that is something that you should definitely look into. So those are the 3 mindsets that I got rid of that helped me to improve my finances. If you want to improve your finances, you can log on to finishfirstfinancially.com and book a free consultation with me, where I'll look at your financial situation and we'll look at the ways to reduce your expenses so that we can get you out of debt and put you on the road to financial prosperity.